Hello, and welcome back to Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. Today is Friday, so you know what that means. College football pick'em with David Mize. Let's go ahead and get to those picks. All right, we are back with David like every Friday for college picks. David, you went 6-5 last week. I went 5-6. You're 38-25 now. I'm 35-28. We like to have the reverse numbers there. But you're 38-25. I'm 35-28. Anything you want to say about that?
No, I've gone out on that limb now, and it seems to be paying off so far this year.
Yeah, we both went with LSU last week. But you got me on the which game was it? Colorado. You got me with Colorado and USC and Michigan Wisconsin game. That was the turning point last week. But anyway, we got 9 games this week, and we'll go ahead and get to those. Very first game on the list I got here. Probably the game of the weekend, and it happens to happen at 11 a.m. Tomorrow. Number 6 Michigan at number 24 Michigan State, 11 a.m. Central on Fox. Michigan is a 7-point road favorite.
This is really probably the game of you're right, the game of Saturday, and especially after Michigan State defeated Penn State last week. So that's that was a huge win for them. It being at Michigan State, I was looking. Michigan State has won like 6 of the last 8 there, so it's 6 of the last, won 8 of the last 10. Excuse me. So it's been a hard place for Michigan to play, but still, there's something about Michigan and the way they're playing right now. I just think they may pull it out at the end. So I'm gonna go with the Wolverines of Michigan.
Yeah, I think I like Michigan until they play Ohio State, and I might even like them then. But I'm going Michigan too. There's something about them this year. Like I say every week, that Notre Dame loss is not bad at all because Notre Dame's going to make the playoffs unless they have a major hiccup like they almost did last week. But I like Michigan. I like 7 points. I like Michigan. That line's good. Michigan, obviously they struggled last time they were on the road at Northwestern, but I like Michigan to find a way to win the game when it's all said and done tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I should say, since they want to play that one so early. But I'm with you on that one. I'm taking the Wolverines. Second game on the list here. The line surprised me for this one. Number 9 Oklahoma at TCU. Another 11 a.m. kickoff on ABC. Oklahoma's only an 8-point road favorite. I guess it has to do with how close TCU played. Played Ohio State, something like that. But Oklahoma's only 8-point favorite on the road at TCU.
One of the things I saw that was interesting about this game is this is the 3rd time in 12 games that the two have met. They met last year, November 11th, and they met in the Big 12 Championship, and now they're meeting again. And last year, at November 11th, they lost by 18. TCU did. They really got blown out in the Big 12 Championship. 41-17, and I don't see why this line is that close. I'll take Oklahoma all day on this one.
Yeah, I know Oklahoma. The last time we saw Oklahoma, they were getting blown off the field by Texas, and then they came back. They did what great teams do. They came back. They still lost the game. TCU, they're 3-3. They're struggling right now. I like Oklahoma. I'm with you. I'm like Oklahoma. I'm not saying they're going to completely blow them out, but a comfortable margin tomorrow morning. There over TCU tomorrow morning into the noon afternoon time. But I'm with you. I'm taking number 9 Oklahoma to win that game. Game 3 I got on the list here. You got Maryland at number 19 Iowa, 11 a.m. Another 11 a.m. kickoff here on ESPN. Iowa's a 9-point favorite at home.
I'm going to have to go with Iowa on this one. One of the things is it's Iowa's homecoming. So I think that they will be ready for Maryland, and I see this being a win.
Yeah, Iowa at home. We've seen what they can do at home. Just ask Ohio State. That's what kept Ohio State out of the playoffs last year. But Iowa at home, homecoming. Sometimes they can be labeled one of the most boring brands in football, but they win football games. It seems like a lot of times. But I like Iowa at home. Iowa's only losses to Wisconsin so far this year. But with it being a home game, I like Iowa. The 9 point, I like them by 7 to 10 points. I think Maryland's a little better than people give them credit for, but Iowa at home gets the job done in that football game for me. Game 4 here, another huge game. This could go a long way to deciding the ACC. You got number 16 NC State, North Carolina State at number 3 Clemson, 2:30 p.m. on ESPN. Clemson is a 17.5-point favorite at home.
This is one of those games that looks good, sounds good, 16 versus 3, but I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those games that Clemson just comes out and really looks dominant again. They've kind of struggled a little bit this year, but I think this is the game that kind of everybody goes, oh, yeah, let's not forget about the Clemson Tigers. I see them winning this game.
I'm on the fence. NC State has played them to the end. It seems like every game for the last several years since Clemson's been in that upper tier. It seems like NC State's always been a thorn in their side. This game could be way better, and we would know a lot more about North Carolina State had they played that game against West Virginia. I was reading about it, and the computers give NC State almost no chance whatsoever, whether they beat Clemson or not, and go undefeated to make the playoffs. Had they had that game against West Virginia, they'd have a chance at the playoffs. But Clemson's been there before. They seem to always eke it out. 17.5 is way too much for me. I'm thinking more 3-point to 7-point game. But Clemson at home, just a little too much. I want to pick the upset there, but you can't when you know what Clemson's bringing to the table. So I'm going with the Clemson Tigers take down the Wolfpack tomorrow. The next one, Colorado, they were kind of exposed. They were 5-0 going in, but they'd played nobody, and then that kind of showed against USC last week. But you got Colorado, 5-1 Colorado at number 15 Washington State, 2:30 p.m. on Fox. Washington is 17-point home favorite.
I could see this game probably being a little close till maybe halftime, but I think in the end Washington pulls it out. Maybe 35-21 a game like that.
Yeah, Colorado they showed really what their true colors are last week for the most part. Washington, we know they're a good football team. They lost a close one in overtime to Oregon last week. I like Washington. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out completely, but Washington's going to win that game, I believe. Game 6 on the list here. We got LSU back on the list here. Number 22 Mississippi State at number 5 LSU. 6 o'clock on ESPN. LSU is a 6.5-point home favorite. Small line. I thought that was kind of small for that game.
I do too. I think LSU is going to be eager to, kind of avenge last year's loss to the Bulldogs. And even though Mississippi State, they were off last week and they had the win against Auburn the week before, I'm not sure a win against Auburn means as much right now as it did earlier in the season. And LSU just looked impressive last week. So I could see this game being 2 touchdowns LSU win.
Yeah, Mississippi State still hasn't shown anything on offense. Fitzgerald ran for almost 200 yards on Auburn, but that was the first time he's done jack against anybody this season. They've looked absolutely lost on offense. 6.5. I was thinking more 14, especially LSU at home and what they did last week. They didn't just look good; they looked scary.
They did.
They looked like LSU of old. Control the game, run the ball, don't make any mistakes, and just beat the ever living you know what out of you on defense and push you around. That game wasn't even close last week against Georgia.
Right. One thing I want to add too for those on that will be watching that game, I know a lot of us will be. I thought it was fascinating. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but the LSU uniforms are going to be they're going to be something you want to see. They're going out and paying tribute to the 1918 team that they didn't have
the silent season
because of World War I, and supposedly the helmet and supposed to change colors and stuff like that.
I've seen the pictures. It's like a deep purple.
Color.
Yeah, I didn't know it was supposed to change, but
as light hits it and stuff. So I think it's going to be it changes color to gold under the light. So
the metallic flakes and stuff change.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. But I didn't even think about it being a night game at LSU and the way they're playing. Yeah, I like LSU. uh, well, we all know what we're waiting for in 2 weeks.
That'll be a night game too.
Oh yeah, CBS always puts that in as the night game.
Yeah.
And they do it for a reason.
Right,
but we all know what we're looking forward to in 2 weeks. With LSU's got a bye week. We're obviously talking about Alabama LSU, the first weekend in November here. But that's in 2 weeks. We'll get to that when it gets here. But LSU, I like them by 14. But I could see this game getting away, quick, fast, and in a hurry if things fall the right way for LSU. But LSU, they win that game tomorrow night, especially at home at night. Game 7 here. Another surprising line for me. Number 2 Ohio State at Purdue, 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Ohio State's a 13-point favorite. Pretty small for me, but they've shown some vulnerability here the last couple weeks.
Well, I think they're factoring in. They didn't look very good against Minnesota. I mean, they did win 30-14, but still, it was kind of an underwhelming showing. Yeah. And frankly, there's a little bit of scuttlebutt about Meyer and what his future holds. I know that there's last 2 days they've been talking about maybe this might be his last season. So if that's hitting the press here, you can only imagine what's going on there. But I still think Ohio State takes care of Purdue handily.
Yeah, Purdue, they're much better than their record really shows, I believe. They're a pretty good football team, but they just had some games. They started 0-3. I think they're 4-3 now, something like that. They're better than their record actually shows, in my opinion. They just had some hiccups and lost those games. Ohio State should win this game easily. I'm not saying they're going to absolutely run them off the field with it being at Purdue. But Ohio State, I don't see them overly struggling with Purdue at Purdue. But that might be a trap game. That might be something to watch. But I think Ohio State wins pretty easily. 2 touchdowns, something like that. Something kind of like last week. Maybe not struggle as bad, but I'm with Ohio State as well. The next one you got number 12 Oregon at number 25 Washington State, 6:30 p.m. on Fox. Oregon, no respect going into Washington State. Washington State is the 3-point favorite at home.
Well, Oregon kind of has come back into the field here with that win over Washington, and that it could be a letdown game. With Washington State's really passing attack is something else. I mean, I think they're averaging like 400 something yards per game through there.
Well, that Mike Leach offense.
So. So it could be a game, that Oregon could falter, but I don't know. I just think Oregon may have put the pieces together, and I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I'm going to Oregon. They've shown they should very well be undefeated. They should be undefeated right now. They shouldn't have lost that game to Stanford. Oregon should be right there in the thick of everything, but they lost that one game. But by beating Washington, they're right back in the discussion with the craziness that's happened, especially last week. Anything can happen at this point. But Oregon, I like their chances over Washington State. Washington State's 5-1 and just now cracked the top 25. I think that's for a reason. But I like the Ducks on the road to get the job done against the Cougars. The last game here, Vanderbilt. This line was much smaller at the start of the week. It was single digits, but you got Vanderbilt at number 14, Kentucky, 6:30 p.m. SEC Network will be the TV channel. Kentucky, as of last night, was an 11.5-point favorite.
Well, somebody, I guess, was trying to win, didn't put the line.
Yes, I forgot to put it on there.
Yeah,
I realized that.
Somebody's trying to favor their odds.
I forgot to tell you that part.
But I don't think it matters any. I'm going with Kentucky with this one. They have really looked good this year, and I'm still not sold that they might not be the team that we see in Atlanta.
The East is wide open. You got 3 teams that could very well make it there. You got Georgia. Obviously, they're still in it. But Florida has looked great. Kentucky's looked great. Except for that one loss where the lack of a passing attack really showed. But they get Georgia at home, so I think they still have a very good shot getting to Atlanta because they hold the keys right now because they beat Florida already, so they beat
Right.
Georgia. They've got the keys.
Right.
But I like the Wildcats too. Big Blue Nation on their home field, 11.5. I guess since Vanderbilt played Florida so close last week, but it was single digits the first time I looked at it. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was like 8 points, but that's obviously widened as the week's gone along. But that's all 9 games I had for this week, and we picked the same teams, every single team.
Well, hey, you can't beat me this week.
We went down the board.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Well, that's going to change in the coming weeks. We'll fix that.
Yeah.
Need to add some more games here. Let me go look up some. I'm just kidding. But no, I was thinking about including some of the other games, but the lines are huge, and I mean, they're not something you expect unless it's crazy. Right. I did see one intriguing game that I was going to talk about. Tulsa at Arkansas, 1-4 versus or 1-5 versus 1-5 or whatever it was. But sticking with the top 25 train here, but.
Yeah, that's the game that only the fans of each team watch. I mean, the rest of us are going, there's surely something else on. I mean, even if they're hitting, I mean, a replay of the Waltons would be better.
It would take every game being in some sort of delay or being canceled
for
that to get any TV exposure. But yeah, so we picked 9 games this week. Like I said, we picked all the same people, unfortunately, this week. So no ground can be made.
No ground can be made.
But I almost went with NC State, but I just feel that Clemson at home's too much there. We both picked that upset last week with LSU, which not a lot of people were thinking about that, but that Georgia offense was exposed.
Well, I'll be flipping back and forth a little bit, but luckily the 2:30 games are. They're the favorites. They got 17 points on Clemson and Washington, both of those. So
then you have Bama that's 29 at 2:30.
Yeah,
as well.
So I'll be watching the Bama game and won't have to worry about flipping too much until the later games.
Yeah, the later games, specifically LSU, Mississippi State, maybe Oregon, Washington State. But but that will do it for this episode. Go ahead and let us know what you're looking for out of Week 8. It is Week 8, correct? Out of Week 8.
I don't know anymore because they started this whole Week 0 thing, and I don't know how you can have a 0. 0 doesn't exist, but they've started that crap.
Yeah.
Especially in high school ball. Week 0! No, it's Week 1, but anyway.
But like I said, anyway, let us know what you're looking for out of the Week 8 games. Go ahead and leave a big thumbs up, like the video, share the content, subscribe to the channel so you can watch us talk about football every Friday, make some picks here. But this has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar. That is David Mize, and that will finish up this Friday. Look forward to seeing you guys on Monday.
Have a great weekend. Roll Tide, everybody.
See y'all later.